Before we begin, just want to let you know that I am not an investment or financial advisor, and these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Hey, what's up, everyone? I hope you guys are doing great. Okay, so what a day in the market today. As you can see, I have Apple pulled up here. I'll get to that in a second, but yeah, so this week was pretty bad. 4 out of the past 5 days we saw in the red. The Dow had the worst month since March, when we had the big crash and lockdowns. And yeah, a lot of selling this week, a lot of uncertainty. So I'll get into what exactly went down, why it went down, and my plays and my setup for next week. Before I get into it, just want to ask you guys, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Alright, so like I said, I got Apple pulled up here. Why Apple? Because Apple really had a lot to do with what happened in the market. It really dragged the market down. It really dragged S&P 500 down, which I'll show you right here. As you saw, when we opened, pre-market was doing all right, but then ended up dropping right after, and then just kind of stuck around there and tried to recover towards the end of the day. And a pretty bad week, as you can see, overall. So that being said, what exactly happened in the market? So a lot of things have been going on this week. Increase virus case count, and then on top of that, yesterday we had bad tech earnings. So what do I mean by that? So bad tech earnings doesn't really mean that these tech companies had bad numbers as far as their revenue, their growth, and whatever it may be. They actually did great. But let's go back to Apple so I can talk about that. So bad tech earnings basically meant that Amazon stock did not do well, right? It dropped, Apple dropped, and Twitter just completely tanked today. So since I got Apple pulled up here, I'll talk about Apple. So what happened with Apple was had they actually had revenue increases by 1%. So right, so they beat their expectations as far as revenue. The two things that really hurt Apple in their earnings and why their stock fell after the earnings call was because of the new iPhones, because of the decline of the release of the iPhone 12, and majority of it was due to the lack of guidance given by Tim Cook for the upcoming quarter. So that basically means that he did not speak on the next quarter, basically give guidance as far as the expectations for the company and the executives. So one thing you guys should remember as far as earnings goes, that's why a lot of people say earnings is kind of gambling, right? Because a company can do great, they can crush their numbers, they can have increased revenues, increased everything, but still the stock can take a beating, right? Like Apple did. So earnings really depends on the guidance given by the executives for the next quarter. Investors don't really care about what happened. They're looking at what will happen, right? So guidance is extremely important when it comes to earnings. So tech took a beating. Like I said, Amazon stock fell, Apple fell, Facebook fell, and Twitter, I think last time I checked, it fell by over 21%, right? So and tech, as we all know, tech has a big influence on the S&P 500. And what I found really interesting was by close today, the S&P 500 year to date today at close has only been up 1.2%, right? So if you go back to January and check it out, it's basically right there as where we were at close today. So yeah, that's basically what happened this week, guys, and why the big sell-off came today. Basically because of new shutdowns, technology sector really dragging the market down. I think the only stock or one of the the only ones that I can remember that had really had a positive day today was Google Alphabet, right? So one of the only four tech giants that reported results that actually resulted in the stock gaining, right? So it climbed a little bit over 3%. So yeah, so that's what happened today. I think a lot of people are just trying to hang on to their money before next week, before next week's election. My outlook for next week is pretty uncertain. So, what I mean by that is, me including, and I'm pretty sure, a lot of other investors are thinking like this as well. They don't want stocks when things are confusing, right? So when things are kind of shaky and you can't really determine where the market's going to go, there's no, concrete catalyst in the market for your stock, for the indexes. People are really just going to, start to sell off and just say, I'd rather have the money in my pocket rather than, investing in the stocks. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, as far as next week goes, there are still earnings, right? A lot of major companies are having earnings even in the midst of the election next week, right? So companies like Clorox, Roku, PayPal, these companies will be reporting next week. So, if anything, if there is some opportunity as far as some positivity in the market, if those companies do report well, and the stock reflects that, I could see the market, taking some good positive days, maybe late next week. But as far as me, my advice to myself that I gave myself earlier was just take a break, right? Take a break on trading, just see how things work out, and maybe go in on some plays on Wednesday. So, guys, that basically sums it up. I'm going to be taking a break Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday. Maybe I'll get into a play or two. Most likely I won't. But just want to see how things, play out as far as the election. Maybe get a VIX, put credit spread. I doubt even that, but I'm just going to take a back seat and see how things play out. All right, so that wraps it up. We went over what exactly happened this week, what happened today, why everything happened, and my outlook for next week. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like, and go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you guys think about, next week. Are we going to have more volatility? Is the stock market going to recover, or is it going to continue the downtrend? And also, consider subscribing, because we're going to continue to put out more and more value-added videos. Other than that, thanks for watching.